There's about three different types of women when it pertains to relationships, and are correlated with the animal kingdom. And there are subtypes within those groups as well. You have the female hyena, and the female hyena typically is kind of like a boss chick, because in the hyena clan, the females are actually the ones that are the leaders of the group. They actually even have a phallus shaped penis as a sexual organ, but it's not necessarily a actual true physical penis. But that is primarily what you would associate with women that are very bossy. Even to go even deeper, you have women that are studs, that are very butch, but and they might be the leader of a gang. They might be some type of like an enforcer, hitman, or something like that, or in this case, hit woman, or might be a woman that's in a military, that's in the special forces. That is your typical hyena chick. You know, I don't want to drop names, but a typical hyena chick. If you wanted to put a poster child of a hyena um, uh, chick, woman per se, you could say Queen Latifah. Okay, Queen Latifah, pretty much, she is when it comes to the idea archetype of a hyena, she is a perfect example of that. If you old enough, you already know, Queen Latifah was pretty much, she was like one of the top female MCs. She had an entourage. She was quintessential boss bitch hyena, the leader of her entourage. That is particularly your example of hyena. The second type is, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I just want to talk a little bit about relationships, because I learned a lot about relationships probably within the last 10 years, from simple research and just listen to different people on YouTube and stuff like that. And I'm just putting things out there. I don't know if this will help anybody, but I'm sure it will. But as far as kind of like give you kind of a blueprint, or quote unquote game to navigate the actual dating market or whatever like that. But yeah, nevertheless, I mean, back to the topic. You have the wolf pack type chick, or a wolf dog chick, and um, in a wolf pack, even also in dogs, a dog pack, you have the alpha male and you have the alpha female, and then you have beta and then Charlie, and going down further and further, delta. But basically, you have within this construct of most women typically are in this society, in the Western society, a lot of women are pretty much that have that type of behavior, because that's just how society is. That's how programming, TV programming is, when it comes to the behavior of this is, because that's how dogs are. If if the beta male tries to mate with the alpha female, he could lose his life because the alpha will basically charge at him and start basically trying to rip him to threads, because typically the alpha male is the only one that is having sex with the female dogs in the pack. And the alpha female is the same way. If the beta or Charlie female tries to overtake the alpha female in mating with the male, she will just literally lash out at them. You keep them in their place. I mean, this is just animal nature. This is wolf pack dog behavior, and if you watch nature, a lot of the relevance correlates to even people and how they behave. It's kind of mind boggling, but when it comes to relationships, most females are typically a dog type or wolf type, whereas they, basically, if you're with them, a lot of times, even if you haven't even set the ground rules for a relationship, they feel entitled to basically make sure you are not with any other woman. They'll ask you questions about if you've been with any other woman. They, just be kind of very on guard for you trying to get with another woman, even if the relationship is not. Even if if you met this woman 2 weeks ago and you guys had sex, and or even in I've talked to women where they never even had sex with the guy. They never were intimate, but because they had some type of attachment to that guy, they were extremely jealous of another woman getting with that guy. I mean, so you could, not even, you could say, when you meet a woman, I don't even want any type of relationship. I don't, want anything. I just want to have a good time, whatever. That does not matter with a wolf pack type woman. She pretty much lays claim to you just by her being in your actual presence. She does not want you to have any other woman. She will even stake claim to you by leaving things, clothes on, over your apartment or house or wherever you guys are at, just to leave her scent, as well as leave some type of trace of her being there, even though she's physically might not be there. And you have, and I'll talk about the kind of different archetypes within these groups, where it's basically there is false wolf pack women, and the other animal that I'm gonna talk about. So yeah, I mean that is pretty much how wolf pack women are in a nutshell. And then lastly, you have lionesses. Lionesses, and to backtrack also, a wolf pack woman, it's no person per se that you could say. I mean, I could just say it like this: like, if you watch Love and Hip Hop or Real Housewives of Atlanta or any of those little programming shows from I believe it's Bravo, those are your wolf pack type chicks. like I said, most of Western culture is primarily monogamous, with the taboo of having a mistress or some woman on the side, but it's primarily monogamous. So, most women are from birth to, you know, adulthood are programmed to want to be monogamous, and as well as men as well. But that is just something that's in the culture. I mean, it's not necessarily. It might be. It probably is different in other countries, but just in the Western society, in most part, all over the world as well, monogamy is basically something that is is relates to how women think, primarily in our program. So they're pretty much driven into that type of dog pack reality. So it's so many women that are like that. I don't even have to even, you know, to say any woman in particular, because it's just, I mean, majority of women are like that, as far as they are, are not, they're the opposite of what I'm going to be talking about, as far as the lionesses. Lionesses are pretty much, they're still aggressive, but they're kind of malnature when it comes to sexual relations, because basically in the lion pride, you have multiple males that share lionesses, or you will have just one solitary male that share a different group of lionesses. So within that construct, it's very, very much so polygamous. So the lionesses are very comfortable with that construct. There's some jealousies, but it's pretty much polygamous behavior, animal behavior, and the lionesses are comfortable with that. And when in their estrus or whatever cycle, they mate with the lion. The lion mates so much, a lot of the Africans, they call them honey. They call them honey lions, because basically, if they're not sleeping, they actually, or sleeping or eating, they're actually having sex, because I mean, it's so many lionesses that they would mate from, and then if they're with one lioness within their cycle, they don't separate from that particular lioness. They will mate for probably 2 or 3 days with just that one lioness, is off and on. The sexual prowess of a lion is man, I don't know, but I mean, I know that it's primarily one reason why they try to kill them, because they actually, in Asia, they take mixtures of tigers, and they make some type of aphrodisiac with it. I'm not making this shit up. I mean, you can research it. It's crazy, but I mean, I can kind of see why, but it really, big cats are pretty much endangered. So I do not promote that in no way, form, or fashion. Especially tigers. Tigers are extremely endangered. So, but they actually, as far as sexual prowess, they are. I mean, it just goes without saying. But you know, women typically are not lionesses. And I'll get to that in a moment. But basically, yeah, that if you got a woman that is totally comfortable with you, as long as you're taking care of her, providing for her, she'll be even okay with you having another woman within the same house, or having another woman somewhere else. Should be totally comfortable with that. Um, you know, it's no one that I can think of. Well, it, lionesses are kind of rare. Um, I would say, I would say, as far as I know of, because basically what I'm talking about is a woman that accepts polygamy. Polygamy is kind of taboo, so it's not too many women that actually, it is very rare in the Western culture. It's not rare in the sense that the behavior is not rare, because typically people are really not monogamous. It's false monogamy. They, might, you might see a happy couple, but it's a dark side to it. The man, he might have a woman on the side, or he might have an open pass where he can sleep with as many women as he wants to, or he does that and he just doesn't get caught, or the wife just kind of doesn't care. But I'll get to that in a moment. But for the most part, it's women that are open to polygamy, in a sense where both people are knowingly involved with each other. Um, that is, it's kind of rare in Western culture. It's not extremely rare, but for the most part, if I had to point a picture, I mean, and I'm primarily mentioning, um, I would say probably most likely Jada Pinkett. So I think she's been quoted as kind of somewhat being in an open relationship with her husband, Will Smith. And I know for a fact the comedian, uh, her name, yeah, Monique, she's in an open relationship. She's definitely in an open relationship with her husband. But her relationship is kind of, and I'm going to get to the different breakdowns of the different types of archetypes within these groups. But she's not typically, it's not really polygamous. It's like basically she can sleep with another guy and the guy can sleep with another woman. So, typically it's a relationship with polygamy is typically the woman is with the guy and the guys with other women. So, but yeah, it's different. It's different, like facades within these groups. What I mean by that is just basically fake. You'll have a fake hyena. You know, you have a woman that pretends that she's a boss, but she really isn't. Um, like for example, you have, when I was younger, gangs were prevalent, very prevalent, and a lot of some of the women that were in the gangs, they were hardcore on the outside. They made them, they were loud, and you know kind of came across like they was some type of rude chick or whatever. But deep down inside, she got in the gang by getting a train ran on her. And I know I might be talking kind of dark because I normally don't talk like this as far as different things. I talk about basically money, finance, all kind of different things. But this is an adult conversation. So as far as like what I was saying, you have women that actually pretend to be hyenas, but they're not a boss chick. They, like for example, the hyena, a true hyena in that situation, she would never let the men run a train on her. She would basically get in the gang like the other people. Like she would get in through the initiation of fighting the other guys or other women or stuff like that. So, the fake hyena, she she'll kind of pretend that she's running things or is the boss, but she's really not a boss. She's not a hyena, a true hyena. She's a fake hyena. So yeah, and as far as wolf pack chicks, dog pack chicks, it's a lot of that, a lot of fake dog chicks, because basically what you'll have is a uh, a dog a dog chick that has a lion a lioness costume on. Okay, so basically what that means is simply you don't have to be. You could probably be past 8th grade and understand where I'm going with this. You have women that don't. They'll pretend like they're down with polygamy, but they not. They're not down with polygamy. Like they'll say on one thing like they're okay with it, but they truly not. They'll pretend like they're lionesses, where it's like, oh, okay, it's cool, it's no big deal, but deep down, if they catch you cheating on them, you know, they'll try to rip your face off, or basically explain to you, no, I'm not like that, or I'm not that type, because they're not really they're in the crossroads. They're not really, they're dog chicks truly. They're wolf pack chicks, but they're not. They have this lioness costume on, so it's like they're fake lionesses basically. So it's weird, but you have a lot of women that are actually like that. And then I'll get to the lionesses, the fake lionesses. So basically, a lion, you have a lion. It's the opposite. You'll have a lion with the dog costume on. And it's kind of similar, where you know well, it's kind of different. It's a little hard to kind of explain, but not really. But basically, you'll have a chick that comes off like she's aggressive, like that she doesn't want you to cheat, but deep down she is a lioness, but she comes off like she's a dog type chick. She comes off like, oh, I don't want you to cheat, and if I ever catch you cheating, and blah blah blah. But then basically you just talk to her one day and be like, I'm thinking about, honey, I'm thinking about having a threesome. And you fool around and have a threesome. She accepts it, and next thing you know, she is totally fine with it. She never knew that it was that bad. And then next thing you know, you in a polygamous relationship with her and another woman. That is the best way I can explain the lion with the dog costume on. The lioness per se. So, I mean, that is the three different types of women. And of course, I'll break down briefly the men. I mean, of course, in the construct of a lion pride, in order to be polygamous, in order to take care of more than one woman, I mean, such as a lion, you have to be a very strong individual. You have to have a very strong sexual prowess, because not only you have to please one woman, which I'll tell you, most men have a hard time pleasing one woman, let alone two or three or more. Um, you have to protect these women. You have to provide for them. You literally, to be polygamous, I mean, it helps if you're are wealthy. Prime example, in media or in a TV show, used to be a show on, I believe, HBO. It was called, I think it was called Big Love or something like that. It was basically, I don't know the name of it I don't remember, but if it was a show basically with the guy that he was a Mormon, and he had, I believe, three wives. And he had a successful grocery franchise. So I mean, basically was, if not already a millionaire, uh, pretty much very wealthy. So he was able to take care of those three women. They all lived in separate houses. That typically helps, if you're in polygamous situations. And as far as the dog type, I mean, be an alpha male. Um, you could be an alpha male. You could be a mutt, or what do you call a lone wolf per se. And a lone wolf will literally catch any type of alpha, beta, Charlie, delta female and mate with her secretively and try to just like kind of steal the woman. I mean, steal the the the, the mating rights from the dog, and then go about his business. Or catch a lone wolf that's a female. So it's a lot to it, but to be to be a dog type is really, I mean, most men are typically like that. Anyway, but yeah, and as far as male hyenas primarily are men that men they're called, a lot of people call them manginas or simps, or there's various different words from male feminists. Basically, men that just follow women. um, Damn near, a lot of times they might even be gay. Um, those are particularly like male hyenas, but they're males and they're very aggressive. So I mean, that's all I have on this. I know this might be over a lot of people's heads, but this will help you. I will admit it helps me, because when I talk to a woman, because I'm single, and when I talk to a woman, I can find out exactly what her type is probably within the first 2 minutes of her conversation. You know, I can find out what type of woman she is, and um, you know, develop my relation, whatever type of relationship that I think will happen from that initial conversation. Basically, from breaking down these three different types of animal behavior. So, with that said, I hope this helps you in your journey through courtship. Thank you. Have a great one.